Now hear this.
Now hear this.
Now hear this.
Now hear
Now hear this.
this.
Now hear this.
Now hear this.
You are now listening to Now Hear This on 90.3 WRST FM Oshkosh. This program contains a wide sampling of stories created for you by the Advanced Radio Production class at the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. Please stay tuned.
Superhero Debate League of A-Town.
Superhero Debate League of Appleton.
Superhero Debate League of Appleton.
It's that Superhero Debate League of Appleton.
The Superhero Debate League of Appleton crash-landed 2.5 years ago. Trace Patchen and Taylor Wheeler, both patrons of Earth, decided to explore and expand on the idea of a Superhero Debate League, which was the creation of superhero mastermind Michael Gray.
How many seasons have we been going on?
This would be the 6th season, technically. The first season was like a trial thing that Michael and some of his friends came up with. It's a super cool idea, but it didn't. The time frame and some of the people that were in it, kind of the big egos clashing, and it just wasn't as fun as it could have been. So it didn't finish through. At least I didn't. Me and a couple people left the beginning of the first season, but they finished it out. And I thought, this is a really cool idea. I know I can make it, work better. So me and Taylor decided to reiterate and refresh it, kind of take the idea and make it a little bit. I'm not saying better because it's your idea, but I brushed and brushed it up, cleaned it up, and made it, structured.
I was super happy to see that Trace and Taylor actually took it, and they did improve upon it a lot, and I really like what they did with it, and so I kind of came over, and it's been working very well since then.
So the original idea, is it based off of other fantasy sports like football or baseball, or is it just something that you as a fanboy wanted to do?
So originally, the reason I came up with the idea, I would always go, and I hate sports except for rugby and wrestling, so I would be sitting in where I worked at the time, Walmart break room, and everyone would be talking about their fantasy football team, their fantasy baseball team, and I was like, it kind of irked me how annoying it was, and I had a few people around me who really enjoyed comic books. I got a couple of them into comic books, so I was like, why don't we try and make something like Todd? Why don't we try and make something to actually appeal to me and my fellow nerdy fanboy friends? We kind of came up with the format over a couple weeks, and it just kind of took off from there.
The draft consists of super fanboy friends that pick superheroes one at a time. An extensive list of magnificent beings from comic books, video games, and television shows dwells on a rectangular glass table. The Alpha declares the draft open.
Are you guys ready? We just have Ben.
No, here's the question. Are you ready?
You draft one. Everybody has to draft one character from each category before the wild cards go, and prep characters are going to be at the end.
The high spirits and ample amount of comic book humor from the participants helps keep the draft moving forward.
Wow. Oh my god. Well, I'm just going to throw a wrench. I'm going to throw a wrench in everybody's gears right away.
Squirrel Girl.
Nope. Yeah, this.
The Witch.
I'm going to be picking up Martian Manhunter.
I'm going to take Cassandra Nova and Omega.
Who? Ben picks Cassandra Nova and Omega.
You didn't understand what Nova meant?
It's that one galactic force that gets annihilated constantly. It's for good.
Taylor. There's always one guy.
No, that's right.
There's always one guy.
The lanterns get annihilated constantly. They get annihilated for good.
One rebuilds, the other one doesn't.
Wait. The Green Lanterns are only allowed one during the Legion of Superheroes. They messed up real bad.
And they always get blown to smithereens, and they're like, no, it's alright. We're going to get a bunch of aliens that look exactly like the previous
characters like Sodom God.
Yeah, exactly.
Who repower the entire battery by themselves.
This is Tomari. He's
I don't
the third.
see a problem with that.
Alright. I'm going to pick up Harry Dresden and Divine.
Yeah! Harry Blackfield Copperstone Dresden.
What?
That's his full name.
Yes. Alright, so Josh picked up Harry Dunn from Dumb and Dumber.
The marvelous banter of extraordinary names peppers the hot, air-filled room. The draft drifts on weightless through the night and comes to a halt with the final name.
Alright, Josh, what's the
Peter Parker.
Oh, he was actually on my Marvel list too.
Josh picked Spider-Man.
Glaring eyes stare relentlessly at top-notch superhero names, investigating their rosters to see if they truly are divine.
How's your team looking?
Pretty solid. I got exactly who I wanted to this season.
Could you give me a rundown?
I guess I went for an all Wildstorm Comics team, and I got my base team, and then I went with some bigger names like Lobo, who can like take down Superman, like that type of tiered stuff. Kind of went with like field control type stuff, so just like taking control of battlefields and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, it's looking pretty good.
Even the noob had confidence in the power of his team.
Are you a newbie?
Yeah.
Can I talk to you?
Sure.
Sweet. All right, so you're a newcomer to the league, huh?
Yes, I am.
How'd your draft go?
Actually, quite well. Not many of the ones that I was looking for got picked. So, I got the ones I really wanted.
What are some key names?
There is Harry Dresden in the Divine category. There is also Karma. She's a mutant from the Marvel Universe. And there was also... Who was it? The other big one that I really wanted was Liara Tassoni from Mass Effect as a prep character. With her, I can know anything.
Excellent. Who's probably your sleeper pick on your team?
Honestly, I think a lot of people are going to underestimate the Mass Effect characters that I picked up and the Ichigo Kurosaki as well. They mostly deal with comic book characters as opposed to video game characters. So,
how do you think the season's going to go?
It's really anyone's game.
The terminology surrounding this league is far from elementary. The creators briefed me on the technicalities of the draft and all the pieces that makes up superhero debate.
How long did the draft take?
Is that about 2.5? Maybe was that 2.5 hours? Yeah. It just goes so fast. I really don't know. It just
really depends on when we actually started.
Yeah,
it was kind of
there's a lot of messing around in the beginning, but even for how many characters we had drafting, it went pretty decently. I think, especially how unfocused most of these people that I deal with on a daily basis are. It went pretty well. So yeah, pretty smooth.
A lot slower than the second.
Yeah, getting into the groove of it, and then once everybody kind of figured it out. But don't worry, because most of these people will drop these characters tonight. Todd probably will, and James is notorious for doing that. So.
How many characters? Do you know how many were picked, or?
Yeah, 260 characters.
Out of what, like 2,000?
We have a list of about, I think, roughly 2,500 characters. 260 characters were picked.
And that's a list of like 50 pages, right?
Yeah, it's about 50 pages of characters that me and Taylor went through over the course of the last 2 years to justify which category each character should fit in, so that we can have a generalized team.
Each year.
Yeah, we try adding different elements each year, so we throw in new things. This season we have the ban thing or the negate thing, so people can negate other people's characters and stuff.
Throughout the draft, I heard different subcategories. Could you go through each one?
Yeah. So as a template for your drafting, for the team that you draft, you would have total 20 characters. You'd pick 2 human characters, which would be base level characters, similar to like Batman and Captain America. And then next would be mutant characters, but like low level mutant characters, like Wolverine, Cyclops, stuff like that. So pretty grounded still with some cool powers. Next would be a combination of aliens and chemical. Most of these categories are from like how they originated their powers. So like chemicals would be Spider-Man and stuff like that. Luke Cage comes to mind too. For alien, it's like cosmic-esque characters, but a little lower level version of them. So like the Guardians of the Galaxy cast. It would be low-level aliens. Still pretty powerful. Venom would be in the aliens because the symbiote comes from outer space and stuff. And jumping to the new category we introduced this season would be the occult and the robotics. Again, lower versions of the higher tier, which is why we split it up. So like low-level magicians would be an occult, like a low-level John Constantine. Or in robotics, it'd be like throwaway Spider-Man villain Boomerang, or like Doc Octopus, which is still a pretty good character, but he's not like an Iron Man. Which would be the next category, which would be tech, which is like a high-end robotic category, like Iron Man, Dr. Doom, people that are notorious for building vast amounts of tech. Ultron, so be a name people might be familiar next summer with. And then after that, we have Divine, which is the high-end magic, like Thor, Loki, Wonder Woman, stuff like that. Then we have Omega Mutant, would be the higher-end mutant, like Magneto. Any telepaths would be in that category as well, like the Professor X, Jean Grey. And then the final category would be Cosmic, which is like your Superman. Goku was drafted right now, or this season, like big characters like that. And then you have a wild card for each category. So you have a wild card tier 1, which would be the first ones I mentioned, and then a wild card tier 2 would be all the higher end characters. And then this season we introduce prep characters, because every now and then we'll have a prep situation where you get to prepare, you get a week of preparation, you get to prepare for the fight that you set up against. So with the prep characters, we bring in the fact that you can prepare with a certain character that kind of specializes in prep, like
basically smarter characters.
Yeah, like smarter characters, characters that people bring wonderful resources that maybe otherwise the characters that they already drafted couldn't bring to the table. New element we put in this season, so it should be fun.
Any band characters?
Yeah. Galactus is a band character.
The world-ending characters.
Yeah, we refer to it as world-ending characters, like god characters almost, like characters that could obliterate you. Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen, he can literally do whatever he wants. Yeah. He would be banned. So because we want it to be as fair as possible, we want everybody to be able to argue these characters and have a fair chance with the team that they built to be able to possibly win over anybody here.
Take me through a match, the parameters of a match.
Okay, so essentially, say this is week 1, me and Michael right here are fighting. A situation would be given out if it's a singles match. There's 2 types of matches when we go into a singles match and a teams match. In a singles match, we would send each other 10 characters that we prepared or planned to pick for this match. So I send my 10 to Michael in a certain time frame, and Michael send me his. We obviously research our characters so we could prepare for it. And say for this instance we got prep, so then we can use our prep characters in this fight as well. We have to give one of our prep characters, because we each have 2 in that set of characters we send him, so he has the ability to research all the characters I'm bringing to the table and vice versa. We flip to see who gets to go first. The things that would be outlined beforehand would be our location of where the fight takes place, whether we have prep or not. So like I said, we have prep, and then whether it's day or night. We have a certain amount of time limit to argue our first stance. So say I got the flip, I get to go first, I pick offense. I use my offense in the fight. So in a singles, it'd be 1v1. He has darkness, I have sunfire, right? Which is, if it's dark, good for him. If it's light, good for me. So it's all, situational. And then we argue. I say my piece, and then there's a certain amount of time. He gets to say his, and then we get to rebuttal. And then, with the singles, there's no offense and defense. It's just I go first, he goes second. We have 3 of those fights, and then we have a duo fight in singles, which you get to bring like a tag team kind of. So like Batman and Robin versus Aquaman and Tempest, something like that, or Captain America and Bucky. That'd be a good. Yeah. So then we get to argue them. Same situations in a singles. It's pretty much a brawl. So that's how a singles fight would pretty much go. In a teams, it's the same kind of concept, except you have an objective to do. It's story based. So like it's not just judging on how powerful my characters are. It's how well I can get the objective done while defending and deflecting his team or my objective. And the same kind of thing, if I go first, I get the offense, he goes the defense, we get the rebuttal for a little bit. I think it's like a minute rebuttal in teams or something like that. And then we switch the scenarios. So he gets the offense, I get the defense.
How long does the season run?
12 weeks. 12 weeks of regular season. It's just like football. 12 weeks regular season. Odd weeks this season are going to be singles, and then even weeks are going to be team. And then we have our playoffs for 2 weeks, I do believe, and then we do a Super Bowl, which we call the Super Brawl. because we're nerds and it's funny.
So, how does one decide the outcome of one of these matches?
Originally, what we used to have was we'd have everybody who was participating, so say all 13 people here, have a score sheet, and we judge our peers, the people who are arguing, format that we came up with, a judging format with different categories to judge from. Off the top of my head, strength,
fighting ability, power, strategy or something.
Yep.
And then there was kind of your objective miscellaneous, and then argument, which was on a higher scale because there's a lot more variation in argument than the rest of the things we wanted to be able to. In case if someone was being rude or something, you could dock some points for unsportsmanlike arguing if that were...
Yeah, as it were, like a code of. We have a kind of a code of conduct almost, if how we structure this and how everybody kind of votes and stuff. That was the old way. It kind of got out of hand because there was some bias sheets happening, and we decided for this season that we're only going to have 3 people judging, and that's exclusively what they're going to do. They're just going to be the judges. So it's actually going to be me, Damon, and Cody doing the judging, and that way it kind of opens up. Everybody else doesn't have to worry about scoring, you know what I mean? They can focus solely on their fight, and they can leave right away, which is a big thing last season or in any of the previous seasons that people weren't able to leave. They had to stay there all night, and it kind of got antsy. People got kind of like agitated a little bit.
Started to fidget around a little bit in matches and stuff.
And maybe some of the final matches weren't scored as properly as they should have been. I think with 3 people that are dedicated specifically to the scoring process, it's going to be a whole new ballpark or a whole new ball game here, and we'd be able to bring in people like the people that we had Skyping in that aren't in the area, that aren't able to actually physically come here. So yeah, now we can get more people in that weren't able to.
Before my very eyes, a battle broke out.
Well, Carnage didn't do just basic, though. Carnage was able to do things that were ridiculously over the top.
Yes.
And that's what I'm talking about. When it comes down to it, if Flash Thompson is put into the position that he's up against an Eddie Brock with a Venom symbiote on him.
Yeah.
Okay, Venom symbiote versus Venom symbiote, it's going to come out the same way that it was Flash Thompson Venom symbiote versus Carnage symbiote. Okay? Flash Thompson is going to pull every single stop.
The only difference
and then
those fights, is you had when it was Flash Thompson versus Cletus Cassidy, they both lost their symbiotes and they ended up like stabbing each other without their symbiote. And then in the end, Carnage ran away. When you have
what? It was because the Venom symbiote decided, hey, you know what? I got to get back to him. Why? Because I like this guy. Whereas the Carnage symbiote's like, what can I kill around here?
No. The Carnage symbiote grabbed all of the other symbiotes in the area and made a super Carnage.
And tried to get to him.
He
still left. He bailed. Yeah, he left because he realized he was going to lose. Because when it comes...
Carnage bailed to go kill more people.
What it comes down to...
It's at the end of Carnage USA.
That's not the one I'm talking about. I believe I'm talking about the one on the micro.
Oh, the microverse?
But anyways,
I forgot all that in.
He basically, their symbiotes get split up from them, different sides of the map. Carnage symbiote starts looking for things to kill that it can get the blood and become bigger.
Yep.
And then Venom symbiote's like, one-track mind. If something's in my way, I will kill it to get to Flash.
Right.
And the reason why is because the symbiote, just like in this situation, the symbiote wants that symbiosis.
Yeah.
Okay? Eddie Brock does not have a complete symbiosis with the symbiote.
Yes, he does.
Thompson does.
It's the same situation I just said in separation anxiety. It's the same exact situation.
That's not the same thing.
It is the same thing.
No, it's not.
Are they not split up?
No, it's not the same. And the reason why is because what you're talking about is actually considered Stockholm Syndrome. It's the idea that one takes the back seat to the one that's clearly in charge.
They both knew where each other were. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They both knew where each other were, and they went towards each other.
It's the same idea. What it comes down to,
in this
fight,
the symbiote tried to get towards it. The symbiote had the same idea. The same idea. It wanted to get to Brock, and it wanted to get to Flash. It's the same thing.
Brock would lose is because what it comes down to is both of them can go crazed. Both of them can go rage. At that point, it comes down to what is the symbiote able to do. Both of them would be equal if they went rage. Flash Thompson will take a step back, realize this is going nowhere, and then his tactics are what's going to win the day. It's been shown time after time in comics, in argument styles, everywhere. You look at it, tactics win over savage.
Here's the bad part. Flash is great. He's a tactical guy, but he's not the type of guy to make a split-second decision. Never the guy to make a split-second decision. When Toxin went after the freaks that entered the school, you know what Flash did? He took to the vents, bailed, and came around the side. You want to do that, that's fine. But if you're attacking symbiote style, going one-on-one, hitting each other, you take a step back from that, he's going to take one step back and go, oh, this isn't working. And here comes Brock. Brock's going to rip his head off. Like, that's going to be the end of it.
He dodges. Why? Because he's Flash Thompson. He's not just the type to just go, oh, I'm going to back up now. No. What happens is he takes a step back. Next thing you know, he goes smaller. He dodges the first punch. He gets away for a second so that he can think of what he's going to do. And then guess what? He's coming in. He's flanking you. He's taking you out. And that's why he would win. Because in the end, savagery does not win over tactics.
No, but strength does. And you want to take a step back and try to dodge or anything like that? Brock is going to come. Brock's not going to stop. There's no way he's going to stop and take a pause or take a breath because he doesn't need to. He's literally just going to run up on you. You dodge one time. Because of the complete control he has over that, Brock is going to be able to use a tendril, grab you and do whatever he needs to do, rip you apart, use a claw that comes out his side or whatever. You're going to try to shoot him with guns or anything like that because that's what Flash Thompson does, and it's not going to happen. You're going to shoot bullets, it's going to absorb, and then get spit right back out again. It's the same thing that Darkhawk tried to do. Darkhawk failed miserably. He got caught up in webs and dropped. Like, Brock is superior in every possible way because of his oneness with the symbiote.
Wrong again. Why would Flash Thompson use his guns on the symbiote he knows for a fact caught every bullet shot at him?
What else does he have? That's what he does.
Okay, but except for you're looking at it like that, he also knew for a fact in his first issue he was going against people with anti-metal.
Yeah.
Okay, Antarctic vibranium. Basically, anything that shot at him should theoretically, any metal on him, his guns, his bullets, should melt just by touching that. Yeah. And he went against that, and he knew that the bullets got caught midair by the tendrils. No, he's going to think of other ways to take him out. And he knows the weaknesses of the suit, which, unfortunately, whether it's Eddie Brock at his prime versus Flash Thompson at his prime, that symbiote is elder and has learned to fit more. If we're putting them both in
There
the
is
same
only
symbiote,
one thing that could discontinue this barrage of comic book
it still
sparring.
comes down to who's going to win.
You gotta move your car.
I will.
So, I'm gonna
right
say, let's bring it. All right, make it an actual fight for the end of the season, and we'll see what happens.
The battle had ceased. Members of the SDLA explained the force that draws this clan together.
The SDLA, it's just a really good group to be around, really good group of guys. Studying, getting to know characters, and getting to know the people that you're arguing, I think is probably just the best part of the whole experience.
As far as it goes, even through all the work I do, all the work that Trace does with the papers and that, it really is the people that keep me coming back, because every year we both get overwhelmed with work at the end of it, picking out everything and that. But knowing that what we're doing is bringing people together, making new friends, everything like that, along with doing something with characters and things that we love, we've grown up with over the years. It's a great process to go through, and no matter how hard the work is, I do love it every day.
Pretty much saying what they said. It's nice getting together with all these people, just dudes that really love comics, love debating, and you know competition, and we come together, and it's really cool.
What sets this league apart? What this group of guys and this league? What is it? What makes it so special?
Well, I think it's just the bond. All of us, as a young age, we all grew up with either the TV show or with the comic books in general, and just to find a group of guys that all relate to it, and then take our own ideas of what we wanted the character to do that we never got to see it happen in the TV show or in the comic book, and really bring it to light with everybody else and what they thought of the characters. It's just something special.
With other fantasy leagues, you don't have control of your characters or players. In this league, total control.
It's more fun looking up these than looking up stats that you can get. A no-name person in football getting... Shut up. A no-name person in football is going to get you 30 points and you're not going to see it coming. Well, where in here you're relying on yourself to come up with an idea to beat the next person.
Honestly, it's a lot more fun, interactive than fantasy football or any of the fantasy sport leagues, because you're in the thick of it. You're actually arguing why anything would happen on the battlefield, as opposed to just sitting there and waiting for the sports team to do their thing.
Superhero Debate League of Appleton is a definite GO, gliding into their 6th season. Who will take the glory from the battlefield this year? Who will snatch victory from the jaws of defeat? Whose team will reign supreme?
Superhero Debate League.
Superhero Debate League of Appleton.
Superhero Debate League of Appleton.
Superhero Debate League of Appleton.
Superhero Debate Redo. Superhero Debate SDLA.
Thank you for tuning in to Now Hear This on 90.3 WRST FM. We now return to your regular scheduled programming.